Hello, folks, and we are back. We are back with our fourth matchup of the night to be aired. Iona College versus UT Arlington. Sir Waltham and Dryad still here. Don't worry, folks. You don't have to miss us too much. Dryad, what are we expecting from these teams?
I think a little bit of what we've seen from the in terms of composition is a little bit of what we saw earlier today. I don't think there's going to be any crazy surprises coming in, especially again, it goes back to control maps. You already know what to play. Hybrid maps, you kind of already have an idea. So I don't think we're going to see any new surprises. I think those surprises, especially between UT Arlington and Iona, we either see them towards the beginning of the season or towards the end. And we're on this weird middle where you're just kind of still playing the same.
Yeah, not too many shakeups I expect from these teams, but from that sound, folks, we're going to be starting it off on Busan. And look at that happy cow. It's just shaking around.
Yeah, it's having fun. There's like so many things on this map that I see every single time. Oh, we're even synced with it. This is great. Uh, it's a really nice map to play, and also just like the little details like that one that is so nice and to play because we're gonna start here in downtown, like we already saw. And last time when we saw it earlier today, it was a 6-man, and it was a little bit of a hybrid composition coming in. This time around, we're going towards the dive. I mean, they're for the side of BT Arlington, which I actually really like, is actually once again the 6-man coming through, and Iona College bringing Reinhardt actually to this.
Yeah, we know UT Arlington to be one of those higher level teams that you certainly cannot sleep on. Perhaps not as proficient as they were in seasons past, but Iona College going to have their work cut out for them either way. Like the aggression coming out from Iona College, setting themselves up immediately onto the point, going to be putting some pressure onto UT Arlington to try to prevent that point from initially going their way. They're going to do that with Tiki diving in, throwing in the bubble, but gets frozen up, able to get out of that safely. Oblivion's getting a little bit bullied with this Reaper from high ground. Tiki eventually taken down. Julian continues to just try to plug away at whoever remains, but gets frozen out. The coordination not quite there from Iona to take down that Reaper, and now looks like things might be slowly falling apart for Iona. The worst part is they didn't even get the cap yet. A big EMP coming in from Dez already.
They didn't even need that EMP. They could have saved it for the next fight, but it's just showing how fast Dez is able to build his ultimate, which is, of course, one of the things that I always pay attention to. A really good indication, but that doesn't mean that you have to use it right away, especially on that first fight, where I'd rather have the EMP and the Death Blossom combo for that second one. Reaper, in the meantime, is going to be hiding, but Iona College has different plans on where to go.
Julian going to be hearing those footsteps, knowing that they have to take a different path. They're going to be dropping the Death Blossom right on top of the Diva. Can't eat that unless she looks straight up. That's going to be 3 kills coming in. Lortler getting another, parking their mech right onto the face of Sizg. And just like that, Arlington going to be stalling out this baby Diva.
Don't even need the EMP. Don't even need high ground positioning for this Reaper. Those kills will be coming through just in time. The delay for the Diva as well. And without UT Arlington once again managing to stay on top of the game, they're not even taking the high ground. They're just all playing together, especially these 2 tanks, and making it work perfectly. But Iona College, if there's a time to go, it's gonna be now. 6 ultimates in.
And we're going to be Sizg potentially using that Blizzard coming through. Lortler going to have to keep their head on a swivel. Arlington getting a big hack onto the Reinhardt. No shielding can go through because of that. Julian just maintaining this high ground, looking down, oppressing anybody. But UT Arlington going to be on the receiving end of a big shatter. Oblivion's able to get quite a bit, but no follow-up quite being there. Oblivion's going to be cutting their way directly to point. Now just trying to be kept alive by their Lucio, by the rest of their team. Lortler going to be hit by that self-destruct, eating the May Blizzard right before they hit the self-destruct. It will be Iona College getting the flip, though. At least it looks like Tiki going to be contesting for a moment. There is now the flip.
That was all really insane on this Diva being able to make it happen. And just bringing up the changes of self-destruct that is able to get to was the opener. It was looking risky for the setup Iona towards the beginning, where Oblivion pushed to the point pretty much alone with no backup, no protection. And it was just a self-destruct that caught the side of ET Arlington out of positioning because they were looking at this main tank. And that was the opening that they were waiting for.
Oh, and Oblivion's gets hacked up and then immediately deleted. Speaking of computer commands, we're going to be seeing Dez throw in a big hack as well. UT Arlington just look to lean into that. 33% is going to be about where it stops for Iona.
Nothing else that can be done in the meantime. Over the 90%, UT Arlington looking good and being able to stay on top. That EMP that was used, and once again, they have that Death Blossom, which last time around was so effective. They're trying to do it again on this overtime. Oh, that was close.
Almost, Julian almost gets taken down, able to use that Wraith form to back out, however, drops the Death Blossom. Going to be getting just one with it, but it's enough to secure the kill, secure the points, and allow for downtown to go the way of Arlington. Iona College, though, not looking completely flawed.
They were able to take control of the point for a little bit, and that is pretty much the control that you want to have. Just having the confidence to go in and having those ultimates to allow you to have it. One mistake that I saw though for the side of Iona College was that they were stacking all those ultimates, and then the timing to use it just didn't seem to be quite right. There was a scenario of 6 ultimates for Iona College, but they didn't really turn out to be rotated the way that I wanted to. This is mecha based now, so the composition will be changing a little bit, but Iona, they already brought this composition before.
See if they can make it happen again. SysG going to be on dismay, looking for those big isolations, but UT Arlington's DPS really not going to be too worried about it. Have a lot of high mobility. Oblivion's just going to be going in, trying to swing. Gets hacked, but backs off. Doesn't want to go swing for swing against Tiki. UT Arlington going to be forced out with their Immortality Field. Oblivion's goes down early, though. Immortality Field from Iona not going to be saving them. Iona now just losing member after member. Point is not unlocked yet, but it will be going into Arlington's possession.
Once again, UT Arlington being able to take control of the situation right away, but over 60% for Julian to build his EMP, and just having that variety, just everyone being able to play different heroes for UT Arlington is so helpful for them. Gonna try to get the hack, has to back up in the meantime, but in the meantime, this is the one condition that they were waiting for.
I really respect Oblivions for that. A lot of teams in this league tend to not check those corners, but we see that exactly happening from that Reinhardt, knowing that Sombra is just creeping around. Right now, both these teams just looking to go head-to-head against each other through this small doorway. Eventually, it's going to be the reroute coming in from Iona College, but UT Arlington not caught off guard, looking to go in and immediately meet them. Doomfist goes in, can't quite find a whole lot. SysG's the one who gets hacked up next. Oblivion's taking both tanks off the map with one well-placed pin, but it doesn't look like it's going to go in favor of Iona. EMP goes out. The 4 remaining members all get hacked up. UT Arlington now clear to just roll through and put down the pain.
And just make it happen as soon as possible, because Iona College, you're going to have to regroup as well. It's going to be the 50% going for UT Arlington, who so far have proven to be the team in control of those fights, initiating every single time. And look at that. Once again, rotating those ultimates so effectively, the amplification will be coming through, and that is just wasting time for the enemy team.
Iona College is really going to be suffering. They can't let these fights take too long, as you hinted here, Dryad. Arlington doing a good job. Look, eyes towards start using some of these ultimates that they have banked up. Hack goes on to SysG, meaning that Maywall's not going to be coming through. Earthshatter will, however. It's going to be, however, Dez the first to fall. Iona College receives a sound barrier, but it's not enough to keep Sam X alive. Tiki now the next to fall, but UT Arlington seems like they have the swing in full force.
And I like the idea that Iona College wanted to bring there, because they were all pushing to one side. They baited the enemy team, but they went back to the same of where they wanted to push. So it was a good idea. It just didn't really work out the way they wanted to, just because the Reinhardt didn't fully push in.
We tried to see that Reinhardt go for a last-minute touch from Iona. It just wasn't quite enough to make it happen. It's going to be UT Arlington taking a Busan, starting off strong against Iona.
Starting really strong, I would say, for UT Arlington. This is a team that we've seen shine a couple of times on stream, and we had the opportunity to cast. And it just seems like the team by itself, they've always been good, but they were able to get better and better with different compositions that they're able to learn. So we definitely see it happening now. That was just Busan, though, so we have to see what happens on the next map.
And of course, we always talk about it, Dryad. Control, a little bit of a different beast than the other 3 map types. If you're looking ahead, maybe 4 map types towards Overwatch 2, although I think Assault's going to be taken out. Either way, way different than the hybrid, than the Escort, the Assault that we will be seeing as we proceed through the rest of these maps, just because everybody's fighting for that middle ground. There's nobody looking to defend hard defend, and there's nobody looking to hard attack. So now as we see the teams kind of swap in or step into those roles, might be a different story, as you said.
Absolutely, especially on a map like Iconwall that we're gonna be seeing next. Those are the questions that we have and we want to be answered, especially by the side of Iona College, who wasn't looking too good initiating. I feel like in the long run, this is a team that if they're able to stay on control, if they're able to stay on top, they're able to rotate those ultimates easier. But when they are at a disadvantage, that's when it seems like they were struggling the most. So ideally, on a map, on a higher map, we can see that balance a little bit more for them.
Well, we'll certainly be finding out Eichenwald as we touched on gonna be the next map coming up. And Arlington, I mean, if you're Iona College, what do you try to capitalize on that Arlington's shown any weakness towards here, Dryad?
I think there were a couple, and I brought it up. It was a mistake. They were able to bait this out of BT Arlington on where they were going to go, and it actually almost worked. But it's gonna be not all of them committing to the same composition, and it just goes back to there's opportunities and there's definitely openings that we saw happening for Iona College just to go in, but it's you're gonna bait them, you're gonna make them think you're gonna go another way, but then how are you going to capitalize out of it? It's gonna be an immediate reaction, which we didn't see. So Iona College, they had the possibility to do so, especially as they're going to start on the defense. And I do like what I see for their composition is going to be the soldier and the Junkrat for the DPS line, which I think is great at not only putting a lot of damage, a lot of pressure right into the spawn, but also denying the space when you have a soldier that is able to just run around.
Of course, Soldier going to be looking a little bit faster than some of the other DPSs that can be had onto the field. We'll find out exactly how Iona College intends to utilize Bean here, however.
Yeah, we gotta see what they're going to bring, and it's gonna be the Fire Strike trying to get something, trying to get some percentage there for Oblivion. We'll be backing him up immediately. Iona College with this composition, they want to play close, but they don't want to play too close, knowing that UT Arlington has a tendency of playing aggressive here.
Iona College going to be suffering a lot of damage onto Bean immediately. However, Krev able to keep them alive and in the fight, not bothering too much. And Sizz right now just playing with that Junkrat trap, enforcing that UT Arlington can't get too aggressive onto the team themselves. Bean with a nice couple shots into Julian, going to be taking down that Casty, no longer in the fight. Then with a follow-up pin onto Dez, the May coming through. Things looking really good for Iona College. Sam X getting dangerously low, but other than that, not too many losses.
Yeah, there's not too many losses yet, but trying to put a damage in. Iona College actually will be taking control of the situation, having a Shatter even. And that is a combo that I would love to see. It is having that amplification and having the Fire Strike that we saw towards the beginning. That puts so much damage into the enemy team, especially when you know that UT Arlington has to play together with this Reinhardt.
Let's see if Tiki can lead their team to a little bit of victory here. Super Juice going to be trying to keep their team alive and well, but that Reinhardt shield's going to immediately come under burden. Both amplification matrices coming out, but the May going to be dropping a wall, preventing that damage from coming through. Iona College wrapping in with the tire, tries to go up, just gets the D-Mech. Earth Shatter goes in, gets 3. Excellent performance by Oblivions there. That Casty on the back, trying to just find any advantage, but Sam X just going to be watching them walk off that cliff.
It's going to be the reset coming through for UT Arlington. They still have quite a lot of time, and they were waiting to build those ultimates, which they will have available this time around for the next fight. More than anything is going to be the Blizzard. That is really what they're looking at, just to create the space that they need right into point, or at least to pass the choke point, guaranteeing a single kill to get the opening that they need.
You see Sizz immediately throwing that trap down, meaning that Arlington has to be very careful about where they rotate. That's been the story we've seen historically so far. Blizzard eaten up by Sam X, but Iona College losing a few members early on, both their tanks, Bean as well. It's just going to be up to the supports. Krev drops an amplification matrix. It's a bit risky given that there's so few members still left on the field, and it was on the high ground. But UT Arlington are going to flush away Iona.
Just pushing aggressive, especially with the sound barrier, is able to do so much. And we see it happening there with Colby just playing aggressive, using this ultimate, guaranteeing that the team is able to stay alive throughout the fight, and also using the Blizzard that we talked about to create space. But on top of that, it was the opening happening for Julian that really shaped things the way that UT Arlington wanted, to the point that now they're just fighting for the high guard second point.
Tiki sneaking around, I would say sneaking, but just swinging around from behind. Sam X able to do a lot of damage. Sizz has to use that mine to get the Cassidy away, able to eventually take down Tiki as well. UT Arlington has to be careful here. They don't want to suffer too many losses. But the Earth Shatter comes in, knocks 3 members onto their feet. Oblivion's eventually hit by the freeze, prevents them from getting too gung-ho with that Earth Shatter. Has to back up, and it slowed down Arlington, but it didn't stop them. That Earth Shatter. Sizz has that tire online. They're trying to get themselves up to high ground, gets stunned out by Cassidy, eventually swung on by Tiki. Now Iona College have given up a lot more space than they perhaps were anticipating.
And look at the peeling that Julian is getting. It was the DM making sure that this Cassidy is able to stay alive, and it was also the shield, any sort of extra protection, along with the speed boost that the Lucio is able to give to this player. That is the support that I want to see going for the DPS, and that is what UT Arlington, I mean, this payload hasn't stopped.
Oblivions get stunned out and almost immediately just destroyed from that lack of damage. Earth Shatter comes in, but so does the tire. Sizz able to take down that D.Va locked into place, and when she is, that means that there's no Matrix to catch the Blizzard. That May is going to be one of the few people to carry that cart all the way towards that second point.
There are many strains for UT Arlington right now, and we're able to see them, but I think the biggest highlight has to be not only Jillian, but also Dez. This DPS lineup has been so strong. The Blizzard came in just in time towards the end to guarantee the fight, even though the side of UT Arlington, they didn't have the number advantage there.
Now we see Iona College heading towards that last stand as the cart makes its way towards this final corner. Oblivion's taken down. That's not a great way to start. Neither is that, with Julian getting 3 kills off the back end of a Deadeye. Excellent celebration there. Team kill. Iona College has to have somebody to touch.
Again, it's just appealing going on for this Cassie. When he has the ultimate, they are able to make it happen, and the timing was perfect for UT Arlington, denying and just blocking any possibility for Iona College to come back from spawn in time, going for that recontest. Doesn't really go the way of Iona College. In UT Arlington, they have exactly 3 minutes. That is so much time on this map.
Certainly a respectable amount of time, and Iona College, I was really up on them based off of that first point defense, but it just was not able to hold out as we look to translate it towards that second and third point. That means they're gonna have a really good attack to match Arlington.
And it was looking so close towards the beginning. On the defense, Iona College was doing so much for the first 2 minutes, guaranteeing that initial pick that they needed to, guaranteeing those first ultimates that we were able to see. But from the beginning, the first fight that UT Arlington was able to win on this map, it was Julian getting that first pick and then making it 2 on that first point. And then to finish it off, he's able to do it just the same with the Deadeye. So that is so much control. There's so much space that you're able to give to this Cassidy that Iona College at this point, they just have to deny. And it's going to be, especially if UT Arlington and Julian specifically that we've been talking about will be bringing the Ashe. That is another one of those DPS that is able to get so much control, especially on the high ground that Cassidy might not have.
It's going to be a lot of long-range threats coming in from UT Arlington. That Ashe, that Pharah, will be able to put down a lot of damage from a lot of long range and different angles, perhaps most crucially. Going to be the Mercy up in the sky. Colby keeping Dez alive and amplified as much as possible, trying to build up that rocket barrage. But Iona College already looking like they're struggling to really get themselves into a decent position. We see them getting halted by Tiki's Orisa, and right now, we see Iona starting to settle up towards point, but they haven't gotten any kills. They haven't started putting any pressure on. They take down the Baptiste. It's a good start, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Oblivions is the next to fall, and just like that, Julian has free reign on this point. Samex might have to consider sending their resources to commit to that.
And is that positioning again that guarantees the last couple kills will be going for the side of UT Arlington. They have so much control everywhere, just looking at the DPS and looking at the tanks, where they're able to play wherever they want on this map. So Iona College, they have a challenge to target, especially this Pharah that is putting the damage, and target the Ashe as well that will be on the backline, just getting so much protection from the rest of the team.
We talked about those challenges for Iona. Another one is going to have to be dealing with this rocket barrage. We might see Dez set up from some high vertical angle, forcing that shield to go up, forcing that D.Va to divert that defense matrix upwards, meaning that it's not going to be facing forward. towards the rest of Arlington. Iona College now just getting picked apart. They're trying to back up, trying to keep themselves safe, but it just allows for that splash damage to come through and the shots to rain accurate from Julian.
It just seems like it's a perfect combination. The Ari putting the damage, and then Julian on the Ashe is just cleaning up those kills, getting the final blows every single time. It is so effective for UT Arlington, where you talk about the rocket barrage, but they didn't even have to use it. We can definitely expect it here, especially when you look at how close Mercy's playing with the Pharah.
Absolutely, Dez just being a powerhouse with a little bit of enabling from Colby. So Iona College continues to just get hammered away here. Those fire strikes trying to come through, and we're seeing Iona be, at this point, it seems a little bit hesitant to leave the safety of that covered low ground. They don't want to expose themselves to Dez any more than they have to, especially not with this amplification matrix online and active. See that dynamite go out. It's going to do a little bit of damage to Iona, but something that they'll still be able to be healed through. But the Oblivion's coordinating with that amplification matrix, the immortality field, not enough to save them. Rocket Barrage tries to come through, but Sizji able to clean up with the same amount of kills from their tire. Strachey has the sound barrier, uses it right as that Sigma ult goes online, saving a lot of the health pools. Not enough from Oblivion's, however, self-destruct goes out just to clear out point. Samex now gonna be looking to hold with their Lucio, with Sizji on that Junkrat. Second tick already achieved. UT Arlington has to get somebody on point and try to make this happen. Mercy gets taken down. No res, no healing, no damage available for Arlington now. Dez immediately pulled out of the sky, soon to follow. Super Juice, however, able to do a decent job keeping their team alive and able to drop that amplification matrix. But because of that, Baby Diva has to reroute, not able to get full benefit for it, and then gets taken down by Krev. Iona College are still making this look like a fair fight, all things considered. Diva Mech goes back in. Now both tanks are on the board and ready to swing. Although that Sigma falls, that's looking like it's going to be a potentially lost fight for Arlington.
It seems like everyone finally deciding to back up. Dez able to get one kill, not going to be enough in an extremely long fight that we were able to see, and it was because the UT Arlington, they lost some members towards the beginning, but it was so long that they were able to come back, especially that Oriza, holding that space for a little bit longer, and that Sigma. I think Sigma and the Baptiste as well were playing together so well that delayed the fight for as long as possible.
Tiki going to be using that turbocharger from high ground, just making sure that anybody who steps into main, that main pathway, is going to suffer a lot of damage from UT Arlington. And Julian right now just keeping eyes on any entryways. That Ashe, again, capable of dealing so much damage, whether it's with headshot or dynamite, as we see here. Trying to get the final kill on to Sizji, but it's eventually going to be Dez who cleans them up. Oblivion's able to claim one back, though. Dez coming in with a rocket barrage in pocket. Doesn't look like they'll feel necessary to use it just yet. Flying pretty low, though.
And the kills will be continuing to go for the side of UT Arlington. It has been a single fight going for the side of Iona College. Not looking too good. Just looking forward to doing the same as they did before. Iona College playing aggressive with the sound barrier, trying to get something going, along with, even if they have to use both of the support ultimates, that is the opening that they need just to create the space into this area that can be so complicated for the attackers.
We see here now Gravitic Flux is going to be the initiation coming in from UT Arlington. Sound barrier from Strachey trying to keep everybody alive. Big Earth Shatter lands onto 4, but again, Iona not able to follow up. Strachey eventually gets taken down. The amplification matrix comes out, but it's a little bit too late. Too many members from Iona College already suffering.
It's a little too late, and the ultimates happen way too fast. Amplification that turns out to be really effective, and the Sigma as well, putting the last damage needed. UT Arlington, you're holding this defense. They don't want to let it go, and Iona College is forced into a very, very tough situation where there's going to be less than a minute remaining just to make it through the second point.
Iona College doing well to get this far, but certainly going to be looking to press their luck, get a little bit more. They have 40 seconds to get this cart delivered, or at least start the final push through second. Now, as we see here, Iona College is going to be taking a brief moment to get themselves organized. Dez up on high, looking for those opportunities for that rocket barrage. Not going to need it, though, as the hesitancy comes through from Iona College. Dez just waiting for their opportune moment. The halt coming through, not quite landing. It's eventually just going to be committed to Sizji, all on their lonesome. It's going to be the self-destruct coming out. it doesn't take down anything but an immortality field. A lot of damage going out. Mini Super Juice is eventually going to be cleaned up. But that Orisa with that Fortify able to eventually get away, drop the turbocharger as well. Tiki now looking to enable their team to put down a ton of damage, and part of that's going to go towards Dez as they take a headshot out of the sky. No res likely available for this team. A little bit too committed to this fight. Samex takes down the turbocharger. Sisji not able to find anything with that Deadeye. It's looking like UT Arlington's has the opportunity to clean this all up. Super Juice throwing in the immortality field as well. It's all up to the baby diva, who will eventually fall.
And that is going to make map number 2 for UT Arlington. They get Iconwall as well, and having such a strong defense to do so. It was all really the highlight that we saw for the DPS, and more than anything, how everyone was enabling DPS to get so much value out of every single kill, every single shot they laid in it. I think Iona College, they had the right change when they decided to switch into the Cassidy of just to counter the Pharah a little bit more, but it was too late. There was nothing else that could have been done. The ultimates were already available. The momentum was already going for the side of UT Arlington, and with that, we have a match point.
Yeah, it's going to be looking very favorable for UT Arlington, but I think Iona College still might have a huge opportunity on their hands to upset one of these more dominant teams. However, folks, we will find out on the other end of this break, so make sure you stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. Iona College not ready to give things up despite being down 2 points against Arlington as we head into Hanamura. Match point for Arlington, but again, Iona has a little bit of tempo still left in their system, Dryad.
Yeah, it's gonna be the reverse sweep if Iona College wants to get something done, and it might be difficult, but this is a way that you started off. It's gonna be here, Hanamura winning this map, just getting the momentum into the next, but gonna take things one by one. So it's gonna be Iona College holding this defense first with his double shield, which I think should be beneficial for them to start it off.
Certainly provide defense against a lot of angles of attack, but look at eyes towards UT Arlington's composition. We see that Sim, we see that May coming out. So again, allowing for those quick rotations directly onto point or even onto the high ground if that's decided what they want to opt into. Zizji has an opportunity to lay down a bunch of damage just on teleport, however, and that's exactly what we see. A couple of rockets trying to connect, but immediately Iona College just not looking like they want to get in there and start contesting this point, especially with that Sim throwing down all those lasers. The longer they take to respond, the harder it's going to be, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Both tanks going down. A headshot, or excuse me, a body shot onto Sizz. now going to be buried into the dirt. And just like this, Iona College not able to defend too severely on first.
The last couple kills will be coming through, and Iona College gets taken down. It's gonna be maybe a couple changes coming in. Oblivion going for that Reinhardt, and he just want to deny this Noble as soon as possible. The May, though, on the complete opposite side here.
Dez gonna be caught out by SysG. That Cassidy able to take down one member, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be enough. Nobody else from Iona College able to really get on point and stay there. First tick achieved, second tick now achieved. That Baptiste trying to stay alive, but Krev not able to hang in there as long as they would like. Nobody from Iona College really withstands the pressure from Arlington. Sound barrier to go in just to clean up everything possible. Julian, a couple kills with the laser beam. 5.5 minutes is the blistering pace that Arlington set.
And if you think that the last match was fast, this one might be faster just by the looks of it. It is just going so well for UT Arlington. It was pretty much one single fight that we saw for first and second point combined to make it happen. And it was so much pressure. It was this noble potential, the last ultimate as well coming through, including the Proton Barrier that denied the damage that Iona College wanted to put as they got out of spawn. So that space was denied, and UT Arlington had everything to win it with 5:37. That is so much time. Iona, I just want to see what they can do here.
Certainly not going to be an easy task, not only because of the time bank, but also because of just how strong Arlington looked. I mean, it didn't seem like Iona had any way of stopping them. I'm not sure if we saw any kills.
Yeah, there was nothing really that could have been done. It was just like the worst possible timing for this defensive team of Iona as they were trying to go in. They had just gotten taken down. They were just coming out of spawn. But the damage from them was denied. So very, very tough situation for them. Hoping to change things around on the attacking side. Trying to match the time as much as possible here. And potentially with a pretty similar composition.
We're seeing the hack fist come through from Arlington. See if it does them a lot of good, or at least enough good to prevent that first or second point from being captured. Julian just doing a little bit of reconnaissance, trying to get a read on wherever anybody might be. The hack goes out, but it's going to be on the SysG, meaning that they can't get that teleporter up immediately. Rather, they can, but nobody going to be opting to take it from Iona College. Instead, looks like they just use it to force a little bit of attention. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. It will be the Baptiste going through. That D.Va trying to fly and meet them there, but can't quite make it in time. First tick achieved for Iona College, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, it is not going to be enough. The 33, a little bit over 33, actually 44%. Iona College was able to get a second start, though. Even if it takes them a little bit longer, just taking those fights one by one and even guaranteeing a tick every single time would be ideal for them, because they definitely seem to be the team that likes to play the slowest between these two. And UT Arlington, also, they like playing for that positioning, which they didn't have, and that is why they lost one of those 32%.
Julian is continuing to put a lot of pressure onto Oblivions. They can't keep their shield raised, and as Reinhardt, you're not doing your job if you can't do that. Julian not really being forced to even get out of dodge as they still can just creep around towards that Mega. We're seeing a lot of healing coming in from Super Juice, trying to keep their team alive. We see Tiki have to take a little bit of cover, but gets hit by the healing nade, then hit with a nano boost. Gonna be looking to go in, gets frozen up though. That's a lot of time bought off the nano boost. They can't even look to lean in with the Earth Shatter unless they take a lot of damage from that amplification matrix. Dez comes in with the Meteor Strike just to get a better position. Doesn't find too much though. Sam X taken out of mech, and now with the EMP, Julian's going to initiate for Iona College to get easily pushed on. UT Arlington does lose one, but it looks like that's not going to be enough to bother them.
For Iona College, though, it goes back to the same mistakes that we saw on that first map, where they had the opportunity to initiate, but they just didn't. It was the Reinhardt. Sure, he got nano, but he was frozen. He couldn't move for a couple seconds. The rest of the team for UT Arlington didn't have any protection. Oh, they know.
They do know it's going to be the grab that tries to come out. Oblivion throws in the Earth Shatter, doesn't find anything, and just like this, the combos are going to start rolling from Tez. The damage is going to start coming in from Tiki. Everybody's going to start feasting from the side of UT Arlington.
You know, it seems like the best possible scenario, and of course, it's a lot harder to make happen for Iona there was, I mean, you know that UT Arlington, both of the tanks are going to be in that closed room. At that point, I would prefer just rushing into point and rotating that positioning between the team. But that wasn't really the case. Iona College has a Blizzard now to use.
Ooh.
Julian, he also gets that pick. That also shouldn't have happened.
Now they have the Blizzard, but no Baptiste to try to make anything work with it. No healing, no immortality field, no burst healing, no immortality field. And Julian continues to just hang around spawn. They're going to be griefing Krev at this rate. Krev throwing down the immortality field just to keep themselves alive, but Julian's now pulled that resource away. Iona College not going to be able to use it. Instead, just big damage coming in from Dez, immediately getting the kill onto the Casty, and now we're seeing the Blizzard come through. Tiki eventually going to be getting a pin and taken down with a little help from the self-destruct. This might be the huge opportunity for Iona. They just need to know that this is their initiation tool. Dez now caught behind the team. Samek sleeping. Everybody else seems to be hacked. Dez just in the fray, being the masterful combo player that they need to be. And Iona College doesn't get much despite that huge potential.
Oh, and there's not much that can be done. There's 15 seconds remaining. The two tanks are coming back for the side of ET Arlington, and Dez is just absolutely popping off, and this Doomfist does get taken down towards the end. The rest of the team should be ready.
A huge anti-matrix coming in from Sam X eats that nade, meaning that Super Juice can't heal themselves or their team. Iona College haven't won this yet, but it looks like they're good for first.
They should be able to get this first point, and I was just saying, it seems like it was enough because Dez was able to get a 3K, but the timing was probably the worst ever that we've seen for UT Arlington throughout this entire match, where both of the tanks got taken down in the last fight, and when they were back, everyone else was dead, so it didn't really work out. They didn't have the healers that they needed to, so Iona College is hoping to do a little bit of the same that we saw for ET Arlington, and is just rushing into this point as soon as possible, getting one pick and hoping for the best.
It's gonna be hard though. Iona doesn't nearly have the ultimate advantage that Arlington did on their push. Lortler even has the grab to try to slow things down even more, which might be a death sentence for Iona at this rate, in all sincerity. That is, of course, unless Sam X is thoroughly on point and eating those grabs. But now, as we see here, Arlington just stifling Iona as they try to push into this high ground. They're not giving them a single inch here, Dryad.
One of my favorite things to see here is the feeling that Dez is getting. Once again, this is the biggest highlight of this team of V2 Arlington. Look at that. The bubbles coming in, making sure that the Doomfist will not get taken down too early on. And that UT Arlington is just taking so much space from the enemy team, even having a rally to use aggressively.
It will eventually be Iona College dropping immediately onto point, but that leaves alone Reinhardt against a nanoed opponent. Very difficult. Bean couldn't quite land anything with that pulse bomb, and just like that, UT Arlington are going to be taking the long fight to Iona.
The time continues to run out slowly, and UT Arlington continue to stay in control. Both of the support ultimates used though, and UT Arlington has been holding this grab for quite a long time. Any combination here, honestly, with this grab could be effective for them, just because of the damage that everyone else is able to put in.
See, once again, Julian up to their old tricks, just continuing to look around, see what they can pick off. Bold opportunity going on to the Casty, but Bean rolls away and doesn't try to lean into that fight with Julian. Julian able to get away because of that, but Dez not so lucky. Huge opportunity here once again from Iona. They can make it happen. Krev throwing in the amplification matrix, but it's going to get wiped down. Oblivious throwing in the Earth Shatter catches Lortler Julian, but they have the resources to keep themselves in the fight. Super Juice able to take down two with an anti-nade even, and then continues to just try to deal damage from that high ground position. UT Arlington have managed to pull this back, and they have those quicker respawns at their advantage too. The healing just seems to be a bit too powerful, the damage a bit too strong.
The anti-nades for Super Juice have been so good every single time. UT Arlington, this is really what won them the fight. That extra damage that this Anna was able to put in, and almost guaranteeing the nano for the next fight. Julian likes to play aggressive, but no one has been able to take down the Sombra every time you see her out in spawn.
Dez gonna be fishing, looking for some early damage, but doesn't find it, runs into the opposing Doomfist. Gonna take down, or try to take down Krev, but Krev caught out in the midst. Strachey gonna be throwing down that sound barrier, trying to keep everybody alive, but the picks need to come through from Iona College to make something happen. It's gonna be the nano boost on a Tiki, who swings big off another big anti-nade from Super Juice. Super Juice seems to be one of the top players for this Arlington team, just based off of their anti-nade accuracy right now.
Yeah, getting 3 towards the end, and with that, UT Arlington will be guaranteeing the win at 3-0, cooling in for them. And it was not only Super Juice, but really everyone that was able to get highlighted throughout this match. It was so much of that communication that you can see coming through for them on when you're going to use the anti-nade, when are you going to play aggressive, when the Doomfist is going to go in, when you're going to use the bubble, all those small things that really create the victory that they just got.
Absolutely have to agree with you, Dryad. I said that Super Juice was looking like one of the star players for this team, but that's like saying you're a star player within a constellation, right? There's so many other stars that are just within close proximity.
Yeah.
Doesn't really allow you to shine as bright as you might want. But either way, UT Arlington going to be shining happy with a 3-0 victory over Iona College.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked so good. I think Julian was one of the biggest highlights, especially on that second map, getting so many kills and getting even with the Deadeye, the last couple kills that guaranteed the control that they needed to. But it seems like every map or even every fight for this at BT Arlington, there is someone that we could highlight.
Yeah, I certainly have to agree. And we will at least be highlighting one of those players on the other end of this break as we will be hopping into the interview booth, having a few words with them. So make sure you stick around, folks. Hello, folks, and welcome back. We are sitting here in the interview booth with Tiki from UT Arlington. Tiki, long time no see. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. You guys have been winning games pretty consistently here, so happy to have you back, my friend.
Happy to be here.
So give us a little bit of insight as the main tank for UT Arlington. You were swinging pretty big out there. What was your mindset going in against Iona? Was it another day at the office, or was there something you felt you needed to kind of prove out there today?
I think it's a bit of both. Our last match didn't really go that well against Colorado. That's a good group, and we went in expecting that. And so we were thinking of this as like a bounce back, I guess. But our mindset towards Iona was pretty much the same. It's another day in the office of just playing how we normally play. We pretty much just played what we were good at and just played it to the best.
Well, I mean, the scoreline definitely doesn't argue that. No doubt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's one of the things that really was my favorite highlight from your team playing today, and it was that you guys were appealing for your DPS so much. I mean, it was the Cassidy, and it was also the Doomfist. It was a bunch of anything that you wanted to bring. It was a lot of peeling. Is it just because of a lot of practicing, a lot of scrimming, they were able to get that down, or is that kind of the DPS requesting, the bubble then, or the speed boost then, just to make it that happen?
I think for the most part, it's just basic instinct. When like we all know our DPS might, try to get a little bit too creative, and so we kind of try to make sure we can help them. I know I make sure that towards the ends of fights, I try to assist anyone that might be in danger. I mean, as the main tank, that's also my job, but uh, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. It's you see someone kind of being a little bit creative, and you got to go help them. So yeah.
And so what do you think happened on that fight that you lost? When you lost control in Iconwall, when you lost that first point, it was a very messy fight. So,
Mhm.
what was going on behind the scenes? Because we saw everyone kind of coming back one by one, but it didn't really work out the way that you guys wanted to.
We I think we staggered onto the point too fast. We tried to we could have probably stopped them like right before they got the third tick. But we were just trying to commit to actually trying to win it. Um, but we just never hard committed enough like with ults. I think it might have been turnable if we committed some ults, but we just decided, we're just gonna hold them, and we'll hold them up on the high ground and low ground, just in that choke, and like we did, and just to win it. So
Well, fantastic. I mean, the results spoke for themselves. Better late than never, especially on Eichenwald. We saw you guys come through on that second point or on that Streets face. So excellent performance there, Tiki, from both you and your team. However, that is about all the questions we have for you. Before I do let you go, as I'm sure you're familiar with, you've been through this process a couple times. Do want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs. So let us know who you got on the mind.
just shout out to Drew and Pinkle. They are like esports coordinators, I guess, here at UTA. Drew's been tirelessly trying to get us like an actual space on campus that we can actually practice together, and it's finally coming together after however many years. Um, I guess shout out to my parents and who are actually watching, even though they don't really understand the game. And shout out to anyone that's supporting us. I know that in some communities I'm in on Twitch, they're coming and watching some of the games, and some of our friends here at UTA. It's great seeing support. So
Well, with gameplay like that, how could you not expect at least a modicum of support, Tiki? Once again, fantastic game. Thank you for coming in here, and congratulations.
thank you.
And with that, Dryad, we are ready to wrap up UT Arlington versus Iona College. However, folks, we're not done. We have one more game of Overwatch for you tonight before we must bid you farewell, but it will be after a short break. So make sure you stick around, folks. We'll be back in a bit.